Don't do it. Come on, buddy. Please don't do it. Come on. You need to stop. Come on. No. Oh, so you've done it now. There's a few different ways somebody could go. So ultimately, there's a few different ways somebody could go about rectifying the situation. I am going the nuclear route and using concrete as a fixed base with maybe some clamps right here. So a cat can't just go, you know, and move it over or easily, you know, knock it one way or another and flood my bathroom. So I've got some Quikrete and we're gonna make a form for the concrete and then take something like tin foil or saran wrap, probably saran wrap, and press this into the concrete form so we get these little feet, you know, somewhat secured. Probably go up a little bit. I don't see any reason why that won't work. There's probably better ways to do this, but you know, I don't want Kitty to go and just knock this thing around. So let's just find some wood here that, you know, kind of matches the diameter and make a circle. All right, so I found some pieces here. This right here is what I feel like is going to make a fantastic base for our concrete form. You know, there's a lot of slop there and a lot of room for error. That's what we were working with. This piece right here is going to wind up being the outside edge of the form. So we'll cut this to a specific size, whatever I guess whatever I decide the concrete thickness needs to be. And we're gonna kerf it. I think that's the right term. We're gonna cut little slits in here, kind of like what the inside of an acoustic guitar would look like. So we can mold this around the circle. So real quick, I want to kind of jot out what this should look like here. This ain't got to be perfect, but it'll give us a reference. So I'm going to take my pencil and kind of hug the outside edge, and we'll probably add, you know, an inch or so to that. The feet get in the way. It ain't got to be perfect. It ain't perfect. But it just gives me a rough guide. Yeah, fantastic. So the center is going to be like somewhere in here. And we'll take, probably go like an extra, I don't know, 1 3/4 out. All right. So let's grab our protractor. Protractor is a go. And make this match the line we just drew. From the center point, I don't know if my protractor will do that or not. Nope, it sure won't. So what we're gonna do is guess instead of doing it correctly. We're just gonna guess. I'll deal with that later. So we'll move this, we'll move the fountain somewhere somewhat out of the way so we don't get dust in it per se. I'll clean this up anyways. And we're going to use my circle jig for this. So I've got a little slit right here to fit on the table saw. We'll just mount that up. Ow, a splinter. And I guess figure out where we want to put this. I do have a mark here for a 5-inch something or another. So that's a 5-inch radius. Because ultimately we're going to spin this in a circle. Let's just see here. I think we're going to roughly line up our line right there with the blade. Roughly. And grab some washers. There's probably safer ways to do this, but this is how I do it. Alright, so we want a Phillips head, wherever that might be. I've got one in here. Good enough. So these washers, and I'll grab a fender washer to secure the screw we'll use. We want to make sure is that we don't go too deep and hit the table saw itself. So I'm just going to kind of, roughly, get out of here, Mr. Blade. There we go. All right, so we're going to do that right there. Now we should have a mark on the bottom. Yeah, it looks like that's real close to another one, but we'll mark it anyways. Perfect. Now let's see, this is a 1 1/8 inch drywall screw, which even bottomed out will not pierce through to the table saw. So we don't need a lot of shim action. Probably 2 washers on the bottom with the fender washer on top should be adequate to keep this in place and get us a good enough cut for what we want to do. We need that. All right, we'll put that like so. And I'm gonna go on and send this down. Perfection. Take our 2 washers here, get them there. We're gonna find our mark you guys might not can see. I'm actually gonna put the washers directly over the mark we want to be at. Cool. So I'm gonna run this all the way down and then back it off some. Well, that didn't really tighten up at all now, did it? Phantasmo. So what we'll do here is we're just going to make a new hole in a similar spot. This is not, we're not going for perfection. We're making a form. This is probably already more involved than what concrete guys would do. Alright, so I felt our shims drop in place. Alright, so as we spin this, we're loosening up the bit or screw, so that gave way, but we'll give this a few spins here. You know, honestly, that's kind of perfection. Not gonna lie. And we're still like somewhat lined up with our mark. So if I take and look in here, you probably can't see, but that's like beauty right there. Cool. Now it's not gonna be perfectly square. I'm not worried about that. We're spinning in a tightening rotation, so it should be just fine. All right, we're plenty adequate there. I'm gonna keep my hand here well away from the blade, and I am gonna try and make an effort to keep this level with one hand. So I have a automatic vacuum hooked up to my saw. So you might not can hear me, and I might crop this out, but you know, here we go. Well, that right there is about as perfect as she's gonna get. If we flip it over and don't look at this side, that's her baby. All right, so now we've got to get our saw set up to cut that and figure out where we want, you know, our height to be for our form. So after looking at this, I decided that I want this form to come up to about 2.5 inches. So we're going to cut that to 2.5 there. We can see with the blue paint, that's our square side. So let's move this over here. Out of the way. Take this. I go in and preemptively put the square side towards the blade so I know what side to cut on. There we go. All right. So right here we want basically 2.5, and that should give us plenty. I'm actually going to go over just a touch to allow for some extra thickness should something go wrong. But, all right. Don't forget to reset your blade depth. You don't want to be way, way up there. Good enough. Oh wow, she's a little bit cattywampus. It's okay. So we'll take and this guy right here set up. Now I've actually never done this process before. So we're both going to be learning. What I want to make sure of is that we do not go all the way through the wood. So I'm going to lower this down right there. I don't know if you can really see it, but we are just kind of on that last strand of wood. And we're going to do something like this. You know, we're going to take and cut here, 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 here. The whole line down. I don't know exactly how much I need, so I'm going to cut this whole thing and pray that it's enough, and then cut it down after the fact. So we're going to start right here and just work our way down. I'm sure there's a jig you could set up to make this more even, but we're just trying to bend it. And I might have to soak this as well, but let's just see how it works out. See potential pitfalls here, so I'm going to go and mark this right here as start. I'm going to line this up here, and I'm just going to put a line where the blade stops. And then we're going to measure. Well, I don't know. That's kind of counterproductive. The blade's an eighth of an inch. So let's see what we wound up with here. Well, you know, let's burn an inch to make sure. I guess about 3/16. What I'm actually going to do is bring this here. And we're going to mark an eighth. And I'm doing it like this mainly so I know where this piece right here stops. So an eighth is right there, basically. All right, let's get something straight. Woo, sawdust. So with this on the back here, excuse me, that's gonna get us close enough. It ain't gotta be perfect. So what we'll do now is just move every notch over to that line. Just keep cutting. All right, it didn't fare too well on that. We lost a few, you know, snaggletooths, teeth, and well, you know, it might do what it's supposed to. I'm gonna soak this for like 30 minutes in some water, and we'll see how it goes. All right, Godspeed, old friend. All right, so she's been cooking for a little while now. Whole lot more flexible. Whole lot more. So that should give us kind of what we want. All right, so here we are with our wet wood and circle. So this is in fact too long. We need to figure out where to cut this. So we're going to try and bend this together here. Let's see here. I've never done this, which is a slight problem. There we go. I'm sure I could measure and do this halfway correctly, but you know, where's the fun in that? All right. Ooh, uh-oh. We've got a loosey-goosey boy right there. I think what we might do actually is take a nail gun and nail one side and try and roll it. So let me get that set up. That might be easier than me trying to conform it and then strap it. I will be strapping it, but let's just see here. All right, so we got the old bank set up here. Let's figure out how we want to deal with this. This is honestly more difficult than I thought. Working on my knees here too. There goes the door. Thanks, wind. All right. Let's just find a decent spot here. Try and nail it. Keep everything as level and symmetric as we can. Looks pretty good to me. All right. Ooh, shot that one over. Shot that one over too. We'll trim these. We just need a couple. Kind of hold the circle. All right, it's kind of working though. Got that one. All right. So we're schmoving. We are going off kilter though. Luckily, I can kind of bend it where I want it, where I need it. Let's just try and roll it. Oh yeah, she ain't doing what I want her to. It's okay. The main thing is just kind of getting the measurement. All right. So let me readjust here so you guys can see a little bit better. So what I think I'm going to try and do is eyeball this gap right here. That's going to be the easiest thing. It might not be perfect, but so long as the base circle is flat, so will the concrete. And we'll take and seal this up. I know you guys can't really see exactly what I'm doing here. All right. So we're still moving here. We're just going to keep eyeballing the same profile. This is for cats. It'll still work. Oh, it's a huge gap. Let me readjust once again. Big boy right there. We'll just have to work with it. That's all I can say. All right, that one closed up some, which is good. I need to bring this over. Come on, Mr. Banks. There we go. We're still moving. All right. So, it's rough. There's gaps everywhere. But, you know, I think we might have a standing chance of... You just ignore that. We don't have to look at that. All right. So, if that did conform, that tooth right there is, I believe, where we need to cut this. I'm going to cut it one high just to be extra double sure. Grab a handsaw. Let's look at that again here. Right there. We're going to try that. All right. So now if we take and roll with this, still a little proud. So we'll reduce it more. I think right there. Oh. Ooh. One more time. That right there is not exactly soft. Really at all. Which is a problem. But if this were pushed in more... Oh, man. I'm going to say like right here. You know, I should have just used like a bucket or a cake pan or something like that, but this is learning. This is learning. So this part right here does not want to bend, and I have a definite crack right there. So what I think I'm going to do is try and get this soaking in the water a little bit longer. Oh, of course it won't fit. So we're gonna go back out to the old duck pond, and I'm gonna let that soak for a little bit longer and see if I can't free that up. So I'll be back. So I messed with it some off camera, and this is what we're left with. A total disaster. So we've got this Harbor Freightium band clamp, and we're going to try and utilize that to make this thing a somewhat semi-perfect circle and figure out what to do to make this thing correct after it's a somewhat semi-perfect circle. It's for cats, that's what I have to keep telling myself. And I've never done this technique before, so let's just see here. Ooh, it's kind of thinking about it. Ooh. I don't know if I like those noises. Let's get like over it now that it has some tension on it. And really just break it. That's over comfort, and it looks terrible, honestly. But you know what? We've done all this work, so we're going to use it. Okay, so the next step is to put some duct tape right here where we had our screw, some duct tape right here where this massive gap is, and some hot glue around the perimeter, as well as trim up all of these missed nails. And then we're going to fill the thing with concrete and call it good enough. So I'll be back in a minute after the hot glue gun warms up. Well, we're back. I got the AdTech Crafts and DIY high temp hot glue gun warming up. And I've got my snippers here. So let's go through and pluck these. You know, whatever it's going to be is whatever it's going to be. Goes a good old boy in a Chevy. Now I should note there is a huge discrepancy right here in level, so making this a perfect square was totally null and void, but you know, it's only a quarter wrong. Alright, you just break off there. You see, this is going to kind of act as rebar. Not really. It's silver flavor. So this hole right here we dug out for the screw. We want to cover that as well as that right there. And you know, if I don't like it, I can redo it. Concrete's cheap. We're going to try this and at least get a proof of concept, make sure the cats don't totally ruin everything. Alright, so we're good there. Let's try and fill these gaps in. You know, wet plywood plus dry duct tape. Probably not ideal. But will it stop a leak? Maybe. Move you guys up some. Well, I don't think that's going to work well at all. All right. We'll come back to that. Hot glue is hot gluing. We have the finest Dollar General wood, quote-unquote, glue sticks from Art Skills. Yeah, just put them in there. Oh yeah. See, what this will do is this will give us a nice little chamfer for our concrete at the bottom. Ooh, I can hear the wood sizzling from being so wet. It's gonna work. It's gonna be great. Alright, so at this point I've got everything pretty well, ouch, pretty well glued up here. This right here is, you know, suspect. I should really quit touching it, honestly. Let's see here. We'll take and glue this a little bit more here for fun. Oh, it's really coming. We want a big dam of glue. I'm also going to put some on the edges here so we can stick our duct tape to it. That'll be kind of quick. Oh, of course it did that. Come on now. Come on. Ouch, ouch, hot, 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 hot. Ouch. All right, beautiful. Honestly, my fingers have glue all over them, but, you know, it is what it is. Oh man, that sucks. All right. So we'll just take and do that number right there. Cool. You know, that's it, basically. That right there is a concrete mold. It could leak, but maybe not. So let's get some concrete mixed up. We're gonna go back over here. Cool, really fine. Oh yeah, smells like an engine. So there's our form release. Also, I forgot to unplug our glue gun. So we're gonna come over here. I'm actually gonna glove up for this as well. If we need more water, we need more water, but I feel like that's Still probably way too much for like what we're actually doing. I'm gonna dump some more out. Then probably wind up adding it back in. But there's some over there. That's not enough. Let's see here. So we have our Catit right here. It's been stored in a shed over the winter through rain and all sorts of goodness. It's opened. Oh yeah. I think I'm breaking the bucket. I'm just gonna take that water amount might be just right. Glad I put gloves on. Camera went dark, so I don't know how well you can see, but oh yeah, smells like Catit. Okay. It's the good stuff right there. All right. I'm just really having to like break this up from, I guess, the temperature, like sitting up for so long. I don't really know. Not really a concrete guy. I'm sure you can tell. Enough concrete. If we need more, we'll get more. All right. Let's mix it up. I've got gloves on. So let's just like do it the wrong way. No, I've got way too much water. Way too much. I'm gonna play with this mixture and set up a drill mixer. I had way too much water. All right, let's force some more of that in there. So what I wound up doing is taking a hammer and striking the bag to loosen up the concrete. And now I think I have way too much concrete as opposed to water. So let's just... All right, I think we need some more water. So here we go. Oh, of course it's stuck. Well, oh, hey, there it goes. Perfect. All right. Baby, let's see here. Oh yeah. Not my Crocs. Hey, this concrete might be expired, or I'm just really bad at mixing it, which is also very likely. There we go. Splashing me, I'm not a fan of that. Cool. Maybe? I don't really know. Let's take it in here. It's got too much water. Of course it does. Oh, I'm not a concrete guy. Okay. So, we'll take and add some more saccharin. Mix it up some more. That's the rest of the bag right there. So, you know, who really knows what this stuff wants? Surely it's on the side of the bag, but I can't be bothered to read that or learn that. So we'll take, oh, it is starting to get thick though, down at the bottom. All right. So we're just gonna go kind of slow here. Make up a nice soupy, oh, my jeans, not my jeans. Make a nice soupy mixture here. You know, I would say that's adequately mixed. So we're gonna let that set up for just a hot second here. I don't have any saran wrap, so wax paper will have to do. Not a huge fan of the cutters on this. Hey, you know, that looks like it fits pretty deadgum well. So we'll put this over to the side here. And tired of wasting my nice gloves, so we'll use some vinyl gloves. Man, what a mess. I've got a total nightmare scenario over here. I guess we're just gonna pour it. And try and not make a mess. Okay, it's going. That glove is gloving. All right. So we're gonna let that hang out there. I don't care about this worktop whatsoever. So that's not really a concern. Let's smooth this out. Hey, my bucket piece flew to the top. We're just gonna, there we go. Yes, rubber gloves are in there. The thing is though, this Harbor Freight clamp, I kinda do care about. Just a little bit. So I think that I let this set up for just a minute. Actually, I don't know. What's that going to do to it if I remove that right now? Well, that's highly unfortunate. I don't know. I hot glued the sides, but that might not be enough to like keep it from collapsing on itself. Matter of fact, let's just see. Oh, I hear it splishing. Okay. Our like kind of semicircle seems to be holding shape. Cool. My neighbor's watching me. Hi, neighbor. So I think what we want to do here is smooth this out a little bit. I feel like there's way too much liquid in here. And there probably is. I mean, it's heavy as sin. That is a fact. Okay. So I think what we want to do here is like just smooth it. Perfection. And we'll take the cat thing here, make sure the cord is hanging out elsewhere. I'm gonna stand back. Actually, I'm gonna scoot this over a touch. Wow, that's heavy. Wow, that's liquidy too. Okay. So we're gonna push this into the mold. Oh no. And push it way into the mold. The cord is getting submerged in concrete. That is fantastic. So we're going to want to, I need to get this bucket out of the way. So much leftover concrete. Oh, okay. I'll deal with that. Now our cord here, I don't really want to have hanging out in concrete. It looks like we've got a leg or two hanging out in concrete too. Got a few paper towels here. This is flexible, so the concrete should just kind of fall right off, even if hard. The leg might be a different situation. I don't know if this is going really how I wanted it to. But it's learning. Let's see here. Well, I mean, it did make a form. So if I leave it like that, I wonder if it stays like that. I think that's what we hope for. And then we can take and do anchors on the side to make retainers or something like that. That certainly is not flat though, or like how I planned it. Oh man. All right, so I think what I'm gonna do here is grab another sheet, probably another 2 sheets. I'll do one like this, and then one on the other side. And then I'm gonna, of course I rip, I'm gonna let the cat thing sit in there. Think about what it's done. We've got to get some volume out of here. All right. So I'm going to put this back in here now, and hopefully concrete doesn't form up next to it. Oh man, that's rough. We're going to try it. I've got these weights right here. We're going to take and put this 25-pound weight on it. And we're probably just going to let this sit overnight. Just like that. Oh, I hear crunchies. So with that weight on there, that should make the perfect mold. Oh yeah. I'll take and squish this down. The feet are definitely sunken in here. So is like the bottom portion. You can see that. It's definitely sunken. Okay. We're going to want to keep the plug above grade. Squish some of this out. Again, I don't care about this tabletop. These were free. I'm going to redo them anyways. And I guess I could like diamond grind this thing flat if I really needed to, but it seems like it's relatively level. Can't go anywhere. Hopefully it hardens up. So we're gonna let that do its thing, and I'll come back tomorrow and maybe it will be firm enough to remove and do something with. All right, it's the next day. I haven't touched anything. It's been about 19 or so hours. I can tell it's hard though, so let's see what the damage is. Hopefully everything is gonna work out like it needs to. All right. Oh, it popped right out. That's a beautiful sign. It's still kind of soft. It's still very soft. It was pretty cold last night, so we're still coming out of winter. That looks, that looks awful. Okay. We're gonna toss that. Let's just see here. It's just doing it. It's probably gonna take a good amount longer, but it's doing that thing. It's very cold. All right, I've got stuff I need to do today, so I think what I'm gonna do here is just where it broke out, try and poke that back in and let this sit for a lot longer until eventually it hardens up. It should eventually harden up, right? Here's hoping. I just realized you guys can't see anything. What I think I'll do is grab some more wax paper chino, put this back on with the weight. Before I do that, I wonder, I'm kind of scared to try and disturb this too much. So I want this form to hold up. I'm gonna have to scrape this thing off of here. Way too much concrete. That worked somewhat halfway well. All right, let's get our kitty fountain again, and it hopefully just drops right in here. Yeah, it's hanging out. It's supposed to get up pretty warm today, so we'll check this again. It might take 2 days to dry, I don't know. It would also help if I moved it out to some bright hot sunlight, but I'm just gonna let this cook for a little bit longer with the weight on it. Check back in later this afternoon. So, all right. Well, here we are, 24 hours later. I haven't failed, but I certainly have not succeeded. This will, in fact, retain the cat fountain fairly well, but it looks terrible, and I think that I use way too much water in the mixture, so I have my doubts on if it's actually going to be structurally sound for the long run. I've got a feeling that even after this dries all the way, it's still very wet right now, eventually it's just going to crumble. There's already some stress cracks forming right there. Don't know if you can see that. And the mold is starting to self-disconnect. That's fine. We're going to keep that, but we're also going to go on and get a backup plan going using a different method of concrete pouring. This has worked for me in the past. So I looked around the shop and I found this bucket with some old cam bearings and piston rings and lifters from an old Ford in here. Kind of forgot about this bucket, so I don't mind cutting it down to size. So let's grab a Sharpie here and start over. The method we're going to be doing that has worked for me in the past for concrete is going to be, what do you call it? Dry pour. There we go. Put all that in the scrap bucket. I never want to see it again. The great thing is, this right here is like kind of already degreased. Well, not degreased, it's greased. So it has an anti-relief agent already built into it. What I'm going to do here is try and set the Sharpie in a uniform spot. Just hold it down on the wood to mark this evenly. We're like roughly 3 inches, which is kind of what we were beforehand. We're just going to make a line all across this. There we go. Nice uniform line. I should have done this from the start, but I just didn't. I'm going to cut this off camera because it could be tedious. Just so you know, if you want to do this, hopefully you don't, I'm going to use a razor blade that I heat up with a blowtorch. It's going to cut through the plastic like nobody's business. I'm going to score a line on the bottom side here. And I'll be back with some concrete. So here we go. I thought about it, and I guess in case you were curious on what I was doing here, I've got a MAP gas torch bottle here with a razor blade. I'm going to heat that up a little bit. And then take the heated knife and just try and follow the blue line here and go 360 until the bottom portion falls off. We had good intentions with the woodworking, but you know, there's only so much you can do whenever you've never done something before. And hey, I learned a lot. Maybe you did too. So we're going to continue this. It ain't got to be perfect, but it will definitely be better and more rounder-ish than what it was. So here we go. Hello, Catit. Good Lord. All right, so here's what we've got. So I poured some dross from outside into a Zep bottle, spray bottle, but I clogged the nozzle here. So that is out of question. We're going to be doing this the old-fashioned way. This right here is what we're left with from our bucket. Don't know what we'll do with that, but you know, it's a decent cut. So first thing I want to do here, no, I'm not cleaning that. That's anti-release. I'm going to wet the bottom. And we're going to come over here and grab a scooper cup. Scooper cup for our concrete and our trowel. That's what we need. Oh, I thought we were done with you. There's a little water in there. All right. Try and not make a mess and waste anything. I did have to hammer this out. I'm gonna make a mess. So we're gonna fill this cup up with concrete here. Perfect. All right. I'm just going to get that mixed all around here and breathe it all in. Shake it, shake it, shake it, shake it. I don't know if these are rocks or... Nope, that's just concrete. The concrete dries from the bottom up, so... And with the lack of water, this is probably going to dry relatively quickly here. Good enough. Oh yeah. Drink up that dross. Now on a larger size project, I would use like a water hose or something like that to apply this with my finger on the nozzle. Ain't got no running water down here. Fill this cup up again. And we're just gonna do this, I guess, until it's full. Yep, making a mess. I don't like working with concrete, frankly. That's a rock. The whole process of concrete kind of confuses me. Aggregate, sand, water. Probably too much. Well, you know. We're going to have at least one more cup in here. All right, let's chop that in here. Like making bread. Let's see here, 1 or 2 more times. Mess made. I was planning on spraying this, but like I said, this is outside water from something that the rain collected. So we're just gonna have to do what we can here. It's working out pretty well. Hey. There we go. This is what I should have done from the start. But I said, well, you know, it'll be fun to make my own mold, things like that. It sounds like a good time. Can't imagine we'll need much more of this. Ooh, Catit, what's this? That's not concrete, that's a stick. I'll put it in there, that's rebar. We'll go over. Just get this spread out here. I think we might need a little bit more here. I don't know, is this even still considered dry pour? I feel like it is. Need some more. We're going to press the cat fountain into this. We saw what that did last time, so I'm inclined not to add any more because I know there's going to be some spillage. Just want to make sure here we're doing right, mixing it up good. That's a rock. I want you like somewhere in there. Or honestly, like I don't want this rock in here at all. I threw that into the bucket that's hollow. We're gonna get a little bit more. Rock. I guess what we're after right now is just like aggregate. just like Play-Doh. I think we're just gonna treat this like a hamburger. A little bit more water. Eventually the other one will harden up. I feel like it's going to be way too fragile. I've already got more confidence in this. All right. Let that sit for just a second. I am going to do, against better judgment, I'm going to hand sprinkle some powder in here. Not that one. Let that soak up for a minute. Yeah, we'll go on and smooth it out one more time. I bet you can tell what my profession isn't. It is satisfying though. See, I keep wanting to cut in. Is that why they call it a float? You don't want to cut in, you want to float it? That makes sense. All right. That still might be a little bit wet, but I know there's going to be some spillover and everything should be saturated. All right, let's go get one of our tables over here. Because I know this is going to splooshy splishy. Perfect. And it weighs about the same. Boom. Okay. I think I'm actually gonna, I don't know. I don't know if I want to let that sit up or not. Man, let's just go for it. You know, these are plastic sides, they're easy to remove. Just go for it. It's not quite as wide as what the one from yesterday was. I think we'll let it hang out with this wrap on it here for a minute or two. It's gonna overflow. That's okay. We're also gonna start off by doing 2 of these. Are you kidding me? I hate these little wrappers, man. See if we can make it. Whew. Boom. Good enough. See if you can see better here. All right, it's already starting to firm up some, which is good. Trip there on Mr. Concrete. All right, cat fountain over here now. Excuse my mess. All right. I'm going to do a better job of centering it this time. It's got some, it doesn't have as much diameter, so I am afraid that the legs are gonna not do what they're supposed to and kind of bulge the plastic some, which just means we need to be further down on the base. So let's give it a squish and just see what happens here. It is squishing. All right, so I think the answer here is just continuous weight. How much weight can a cat fountain hold? That was 25, so we're gonna go 45. Let's just do two 45s. So that's 90 plus 25. All right. Well, I tell you what, let's take the 25-pound off and see what it does with the 45 first. Ka-chow. All right. We don't want to break the plastic itself. So let's see here, with that 45 in here, are we squishing out yet? It's doing something. Oh, she's going. All right. With this in here, we're gonna wiggle and weeble. All right. I think we're also gonna use the old Deblo here and see where we're at. Water is coming out, and the legs are definitely sinking in there. The base is also definitely sinking in there. It's already looking a whole lot better. I think we have more weight. Try and center this. All right, so there's 90 pounds on it. Starting to bulge out the side some, which is what we saw yesterday. Oh, she's starting to gush. Let's go on and put the other 25 pounds on here. Some stout plastic. Few good luck taps. Okay. chunking down some more. Very good, very good. That might be as good as it gets. I'm going to go through and just tap around the sides here. We have a puncture. I think we're punctured somewhere. Right in here. Oh yeah. It's big time punctured. We'll have to deal with that. It's got to sit like this. We just got to be kind of careful here. Take and smooth this out a teeny tiny bit. I don't like that, but it's concrete. Concrete wants to stick to concrete. Concrete does not want to stick to plastic, so I should be able to clean that. The back here is looking great. Honestly, yeah, that's looking pretty good. So we'll take and smooth that out by hand. All right. So we're going on day 3 of this project. And let's see what that does. So I thought of one more thing that I want to do before the concrete hardens all the way. Let's see here. I need a method of retaining the fountain. I've got a bunch of U-bolts somewhere. That one's been cut. Let's see here. We'll just use this one. It'll work. So what we're going to do is cut these in half. We'll cut this in half and make 2. And put that in the concrete. Where's my pedal? Here we go. Blade's getting dull. But this right here is going to be like a J-hook kind of esque thing. Also, I don't have you on the chest cam right now, so work with me here. So this is set up for like 45 minutes at this point. I'm going to try and get centered in. Oh, look at that. That's grody. And we're going to take... Oh, that's beautiful, honestly. Kind of, maybe. I've got it in there. Alright, so I'm going to do that to the other side as well. And it made a little divot right here. I'm going to go through and fill that in with excess, but I just wanted to update you guys. Alright, we're going on day 3. It's raining outside. I've got Mr. Bubba in here helping me. This is still kind of wet after 20 or so hours at this point. This is hardened up substantially more. And I think I want to go on and pop the mold off just to kind of see what it looks like. There we go. It's moving. That's duct tape right there. All right. Okay. Hey, it popped off. Whoa, what's that goop? Did the duct tape melt? I don't know what's going on here. Oh, that's the glove. Oh. Well, that answers that question. Well, we got our glove back anyways. Wow, bummer. That's what I was afraid of, so I'm glad that I went on and got that one set up. I've got more confidence. It's significantly harder. That's pretty much the only update I've got today. Because that is still damp, the temperatures here where I'm at have dropped significantly more than what they have been the last few days, so it's not surprising that's going to take a little while. Tomorrow, I guess we'll try and pull this thing out. But this stuff right here, I'm gonna cut my losses, and you know, I'll see you, old friend. It was a good attempt, but not much wasted, other than some time. See you guys here soon. I'm gonna go on and get the weights off and the cat fountain off the concrete. It's kind of warm out and sunny, so we're gonna try and get this sitting in the sun and see where it lays. All right. I still might let it dry for another couple of days. That's pretty good. Cool. Where it broke through right there, it actually has little retainers for the feet. Excellent. So, this ought to be a whole lot better. Just gonna let this sit out in the sun for a while. Let it go for another day or so, and maybe it'll be hardened up enough to start using it. Okie doke, guys. So it's been about a week, and this is done as far as I'm concerned. Now, I've done some things off camera here. I went on and made some cute little straps to retain this, and I'll show you that in a moment. But life got kind of busy. My parents are cleaning out a storage unit they've had for nearly 2 decades, and I'm left with all of this stuff to deal with. The Yanmar is down and out. That's got an electrical issue. Probably go over a lot of this stuff with you guys on camera, but a lot of stuff going on. But I've got to get the cat fountain wrapped up, so I did some things off camera like that. And I'm making the executive decision to paint this. I'm not going to try and take this out of the mold. I've got a feeling that it's just going to break. I'll take and put some sort of padding on the bottom here to keep it from scuffing up the floor. But I'm gonna rough this up with some sandpaper, get it nice and clean. And I've got some Rust-Oleum Turbo Can in gloss white left, so we'll probably shoot that. I might film that, not quite sure yet, but let's check it out here. So I took and put a indicator here so I never get backwards on what's front and what's back. So this is the front. I had this up at the house for a little while the other day, and the cat's got my nozzle again, so I'll probably have to make a 3D printed version that they can't just knock out anymore. I've got these little eyelets here that's in an old belt, so I'm just going to get those loosely placed. Then I'll probably make some, I might redo this at some point, the strap situation, and make those 3D printed. This looks kind of hokey, but then again, it is concrete. At the very least, some sort of long wing nuts, not wing nuts, you know, nuts that aren't this, that, you know, protrude out a little bit. But I can run these down just finger tight, and it does a pretty good job of holding this thing up. Obviously, I can move this around, but a cat, they're not going to get that thing over. Here, let's grab our back scratcher here. Yeah, perfect. So this might be where the video ends. I might do a time lapse of me painting this, and I'll give you a shot of the cats using it after all said and done. If this is the last voice line, which it probably will be, thanks for watching. I appreciate it. This is my first ever video YouTube recording process thing. I love your feedback. I know that the audio is probably not great. I'm pretty awkward on camera, but I appreciate you guys watching. Hope you're doing all right. I'll talk to you guys later.